I'm a very active scholar, and I meet a lot of scholars, and they, of course, assume that 100% of my time is spent in scholarship, but it's not true. There's maybe 20 or 30%. I'm very active in building companies and in consulting, and people that are doing consulting think that's what I'm doing full time, and the people that build companies think that, well, building one company is what I do full time for sure. But then I'm also a venture capitalist, not a very large fund, but a small fund, and I'm helping to build half a dozen other companies. So when people actually figure out that I'm doing all these things, they ask me how you do it. And to me, it's no mystery, because I've always had an ability. I didn't have a word for it until Teddy gave it to me, but I always had an ability to sort of, it's more than focus, but to really get engaged in something and have deep passion about it and stay on it until something significant was done. I managed to squeeze out, without being deliberate about it, enormous productivity that has enabled me to take on these multiple jobs and roles and do well at it. But one day I was sitting at the kitchen table and Teddy waltzed up and said, he was watching me write something, I think, and there must have been a lot of commotion going on, and I was just staying focused and wasn't bothered by it. And he used this word flow, or in the groove. And I started thinking about it, and then I realized, well, yeah, there's something to this. I'm a sailor, and I know what being in the groove is, when you catch the wind just right and you feel the boat power forward. And then because it's powering forward, there's a feedback loop that sustains your interest and focus. And the same thing, when you get moving on something, it sustains your interest and focus. So I've asked myself, how do I do this? And I think part of the answer is, there's so much clutter in our lives, and you have to find ways to move it to one side. And what I did early on was I dug into my pocket and I hired people to take care of everything, like doing my financial, my banking, my tax returns. I just happily threw that away to competent people. That was hard to bite that bullet because it seemed like a big expense, but then my productivity shot up so rapidly that I could afford to pay for it all. So getting the clutter out of the way, although you can never remove it all, is part of it. But it's truly about having passion and having a goal and being absolutely committed to those goals that makes it all work. I don't understand the neuroscience behind it, and I know that's what flow research is all about. So there's an enormous amount that I have to learn, but I kind of know how to do it for myself. Can I tell somebody else how to do it? Other than the simple rules that I just gave you, while they're simple, I think that they're important. I cannot write it down very well. I think I can demonstrate to people how to do it.
I would 100% concur. You're saying that you can't explain the neuroscience, but what you've just described, right? Having clarity on the work that you have passion around, you have purpose within, you're curious about what you're doing is harnessing your neurobiology of drive. When you're doing those things, that drives the secretion of dopamine and all those flowy neurochemicals. So you get into flow, and just like you just said it creates a feedback loop. So you want to do it more. The more you get into flow doing something, you're elevating your mastery, and you want to you create momentum and continue to do that thing. That's how you amplify productivity. And you're nailing one of the suggestions that we make to our clients all the time at the Flow Research Collective, which is have total clarity on that high value work that you have purpose and passion around, and then ruthlessly eliminate all of the clutter. So you didn't need to go through our training. You're doing it. You're living it. Love it.